Alright, good morning everyone. My name is Ozzy and today we're gonna replace alternator on my friend's car. It is 2015 Chevy Malibu. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this cap. There's a little clips right here that you push on. Just comes off. Second thing, we're gonna pull on this clip and lift up, and we're gonna remove our battery terminal, and we're gonna do with 13mm socket. Once we remove that, just put this aside. Once we remove battery terminals, we can move on to move this 3-star screws. Once we remove them, we're gonna open this oil cap for the side, remove this cover, and we are gonna put this oil cap back on. Now what we're gonna do is pull on this red clip. We're gonna push and pull to remove this, and we're gonna remove this. I used 8mm socket, and now to remove this air filter, it's just pushed in and it's right there. Pull on here and it should come out, and here's the where it's getting pushed in at, right there, and right there. So now that's out of the way. Now we're gonna move on to the alternator. We're gonna go counterclockwise, and up here we're gonna remove the belt. So we're gonna lift on this 1/2-inch wrench, and we're gonna remove the belt from here. And just like that, it's off. Now that you removed a belt from the alternator, we're gonna move on to 3 13mm bolt socket, and there's one on the bottom. We'll start off from the top. Top bolt and top nut out. We'll put them out of the way. Now we're gonna move on to the bottom one. Now we're gonna go to this side. We're gonna remove this cover from the terminal. We're gonna remove this 13mm nut. Alright, so here's a 13mm nut, and we're gonna unplug this cable. So here's the connector. We're gonna push on the clip and pull this out, and now we're gonna remove that. Alright, so I had to use a small flathead screwdriver to pull some of this up to help it out, and now we're gonna pull it off. So now we're gonna remove this alternator. Now I'm gonna have to use 2 hands to remove this, but you just wiggle it out, push everything out of the way, just be careful. Alright, so here's a new one, here's the old one. We're just gonna compare it, remove all of this stickers, all of this tags, and once it all matches good, we're gonna put the new one back on. Alright, so now that we pushed in through all of this, alright, so now that we got it on the one bolt, is there loose, we are gonna put second bolt. There's our second bolt. Alright, and before we tighten all of them, we're gonna put the bottom one in, put cable on, and plug this in before we tighten fully all three of them. Alright, so now we got bottom bolt in, we got cable connected. Make sure that's all tight. Now we're gonna plug this until you hear the clip, and don't forget to put this rubber cover over this bolt. So now we have that rubber cover on, bolt is tight, it's plugged in. Now we're gonna tighten both top ones. Alright, so now we tighten this bolt and this nut. Now we're gonna plug everything back together. First we're gonna plug this line back right here, back where it was, so this line does not move on us. So we got this line hooked up. Now we're gonna put this belt back on here. Alright, so we got our 1/2 inch. Alright, so now we're gonna pull this counterclockwise, put the belt back on alternator, remove your 1/2 inch, and just make sure belt is all correctly on there and tight. Now don't forget our air filter is just pushed in here, here, and right there. All you're gonna do is put on there and then push down, and then we will plug this connector back in. Alright, so now that we have this pushed in on all three spots, we will put this hose back on, tighten this bolt with 8mm, and we will plug this connector in. We're gonna listen to a click, and we will push this tab. So now it's all locked in. Tighten that, make sure nothing's loose, and then we will move on to a cover. Alright, to put the cover back on, we're gonna remove oil cap for the side, put our cover, we will put our oil cap back on, and we will put 3-star screws. Once we tighten that, we will move on to a battery. Now we have the cover on. Now we will move on to a battery. We're gonna put positive first. Now we're gonna put negative. Let's tighten them with 13mm socket. Now both of them are tied. We're gonna put this cover back on. Everything clipped in. And now we will put this cover back on. So this cover, it has little tabs like this, and they go on them plastic bolts. So it goes just like that right under them. There's one here, and now we'll just push and push. Make sure everything clipped on there good. And now we need to start the vehicle, make sure it's alternator working great, and we're all done. So thank you again for watching this. My name is Ozzy, and have a good day.